they are.
Friends, Romans, and Patriots, lend me your ears to strap on your tinfoil hats because it is time for the Gay Frog Chat. The Gay Frog Chat is a weekly panel discussion where we go chin deep into a different conspiracy. This week, we're just going to be looking at Twitter and bullshitting and talking about whatever and hanging out and seeing where the conversation goes. If you guys have any questions or whatever, give me an @ehonda in the chat and it will pop up and I'll see it. And if there's definitely something you want us to cover, not necessary, but appreciated. Our super chats, as always. Thank you in advance. And let's say hello to the panel tonight. We got a couple new guests. Joey, how's it going, Joey?
Good. How are you? How's everybody?
Good, man. Good to see you. Thanks.
Chilling.
What's your story, man? I don't know much about you.
I'm just a regular dude. I listened for a while. I just messaged you a few times on what's the damn
Discord
app that we use? Discord. I've been following for a while. I don't know. Just a regular dude.
Regular dude likes guns and freedom.
Yeah. From Texas also. I will say
No.
Fellow Texas.
Well, there we were, Joey. We were doing good.
Everything
we
was
were
Sorry.
fine.
real solid.
Yeah,
Until
Joey,
that.
fellow Texan, man.
that. I don't have any horns either, so.
Well, I saw this movie once.
Yeah.
All right, on. Well, thank you for joining tonight, Joey. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
We got
welcome.
Duke, as always, in the chat, still awake, hasn't fallen asleep yet.
Hey, yo, baby, I'm here.
Dookie, baby.
I ain't asleep yet.
Sounds
Yeah.
awake today.
I am. I will be awake. I had the past couple days off. I got tomorrow off. I'll be awake. I'm happy. We're good.
Nice.
Thanks, man. Corey in the chat, as always. How you doing, Corey?
Doing good, brother. How you doing?
Muy bueno. Muy bueno. And we have another new guest tonight. The token lesbian is in the chat.
Hello.
What is your story, Miss Lesbian?
Oh, let's see. There's a few of those. I'm not sure where we need to go to first, but Texas. I'm from Missouri, so it's okay. Like, there's some weird shit everywhere. I don't know. I'm just excited to be here because I like Mr. Honda Man. We have lots of conversations that people don't hear, so we thought it'd be necessary if people did hear them. So here I am.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
I do appreciate you coming, and I hope you have fun, and I hope that it's something that you might want to do again sometime. But
Absolutely.
yeah, there are a bunch of fucking crazy shits going on Twitter, though. Just so you guys know. Let me find the first one here.
Does not surprise me. You got a new member, channel member.
Oh, I did see that too. Yeah, eServer 420. That's great.
I think that's a play on another name.
Yeah.
Okay, so I saw this cartoon, and this cartoon right here, and I don't know if you can all see this on your screen. Kaya, can you see this on your screen?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So this is like a cartoon of what they want society to be like, kind of, in a way. And what it already is like. And I don't know, I thought we'd watch it and kind of give commentary on this as we go. I don't know, this is more like New York City, but like really they want everybody to own nothing, right? You will own nothing and you will be happy. How do they accomplish that? They pack everybody into these tightly controlled cities where they have public transportation and yada yada, and like all the fucking different things that they can do for people, and if you're all centrally located, but also kind of traps you there and makes your life like a living hell because you're just surrounded by humanity constantly.
Well, you got to remember that folks in a city are much more easily controlled than those who live in suburbs or their rural community. You
end up
rely
part of the
less.
mass.
Yeah, exactly. You rely less on the institution when you have your own dwelling, you own your own land, you have access to large storage facilities, like a garage, something as basic as that. So that changes the game. They don't want that.
It's like inevitably you become a part of the mass. Like it's your surroundings. It's the activities you can do. It's the jobs that are there. It's the places to shop, and they get you before you even realize you've been gotten.
I mean, I grew up in like the suburbs on the edge of wilderness, right? Like my backyard was a horse ranch, like a, I don't know, like 100,000 acre horse ranch that's all houses now because they sold it piecemeal over the years. But like that's what we used to do, is just like go off with our BB guns into the horse ranch and like target shoot pop cans and fucking find tadpoles and dig holes and, you know, pet horses and hop fences and do all kinds of kid stuff. You don't have any of that in the city. You don't have any of that like outdoor activity, vitamin D gaining fucking ability to have something to do besides let me sit in front of a magical glowing screen that brings me pornography and whatever else I want on demand, or go out in the street and do drugs or whatever. You know, like the kids these days are having, especially in the cities, are having a real tough time, I think. Like, and you see this when you talk to them because they're just not socialized. Like they don't make eye contact. Their voice barely even, you know, they can't talk to you because they're not used to human interaction. It's sad.
So they only talk to people. They only talk to people with their online games, or you know, they get these virtual reality. Like I've got the Oculus or whatever, and you can get on there and be in the little chat rooms and, you know, hanging out with people. And that's the only way some people socialize, is through their screens. And it got even worse after everybody was quarantined and all this COVID crap.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, like, and even like my son, he's 8 now. But so much of that, you know, we had to go find things. We had to go out and go do things and socialize because it wasn't just brought to us every day.
What do you think the social ramifications of that are going to be?
Oh, dude, tremendous.
Like what's
give
that
it a few
gonna?
years.
Yeah, I mean, like let's give it a generation, 20 years from now.
Yeah.
What is, because I mean, were our lives that different from our parents? Like, not really. Right? It was similar, correct? But like the lives that our kids have compared to our parents,
oh
that's
yeah,
a
it's
huge
insane.
difference.
It's insane. The technology jump and the fact that these kids are just in these screens, and it's, you know, as much as I want to take it away and limit it to a certain amount, it's just that's what everything is.
Yeah.
I was thinking about like generational style, right? Like you think of like the 60s and how people dressed in the 60s. There was like this 60s kind of like colorful style and jewelry and glasses and things that you'd wear, right? And like 70s, same thing. There's like a 70s style. 50s, there's a 50s style. 80s, there's an 80s style. 90s, there's a 90s style. And then you hit 2000 and it's like it just moves so quickly. Like if you're on the cutting edge of what's going on, like there's just no one even fucking knows it, you know? Like,
well, it was like a fashion stopped and it just regurgitated itself because the 2000s. Oh Jesus! What's going on?
Some weird.
The 2000s were like went back to the 80s because there's a lot of style from the 2000s that went back to the 80s, and then with like the 2010s, the 20s, that's going back to like 90s style.
Yeah.
So it's just a regurgitation.
Just so you know, you're making a little bit of background noise if you're driving or whatever. Just unmute yourself when you want to talk, and then mute yourself when you're done, so it's not disruptive, but not a big deal. But how's it going, man? Shit, I made you unmute yourself while you're driving. That's probably not a good idea.
So mute yourself, but then I'm going to ask you.
Can you like look down off of the road and put everyone's lives at danger so that you can speak?
Thanks for being here.
My bad, homie. My bad. I don't know what to say about that.
No, but I live the same way, Honda. I'm in Texas, so I mean I'm an hour and a half away from Houston, but I'm still in the country basically. And dude, growing up, BB gun, same thing, horses, cows, all that stuff, dude, hunting. And nowadays, you know, my 6-year-old, I try to keep him away from the screen, but it's hard to do sometimes.
Well, it's so easy to just put them in front of the screen.
Yep, and that's the problem. The
Right.
parents that don't want to take care of their kids, they just throw them in front of the screen.
It's an easy fix, but it's a horrible pacifier because it's melting their brain. It's melting it. I have to tell my son all the time. I'm like, dude, your brain is still developing, and it's like.
You know, I saw. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you're good. Go ahead. I can keep going.
I saw an article not too long ago that said kids nowadays are growing, and they called it horns on their skull. and it's from them leaning over, having their head tilted down, looking at cell phones and stuff. There's like 2 bumps on the back of their neck. It's actual bone. It's kind of weird, but yep.
Dude, that's gonna be like evolutionary, like dinosaur shit.
Yeah.
Like, how do we get these bumps on our necks?
Right? Why did all of a sudden humanity start curling?
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the skeletal remains of about 2000 to 2050, you'll see the eventual change in the physiology of Homo sapien sapien into Homo sapien phonos erectus.
Phonos erectus.
The necks are going to be all fucked up looking, like all crinked over.
I mean, kids are already look like that. Like, I just started working at this school. It's a high school. And these kids, like, I saw this kid who was taller. He had, longer arms, but he's a teenager, so he's lanky, and he's not really sure how to, like, stand his body up yet.
Yeah.
And he was walking and texting on his phone. He had his arms all tucked in and his head all hunched over, and he was probably half a foot shorter than he should have been. And I'm like, dear God. And he adjusted himself at some point, but never moved his elbows from the side of his body so his phone could stay in, like, its little holster. I was like, dear Lord, like, you can't even look away. It's like, that's everything is on there. I mean, I have the same issue. I get stuck, but I can't imagine if I would have had all of it at a young age.
Seriously, like, we used to sit up at night, and there was like this certain channel that you didn't get unless you paid for it, right? And you could still tune into the channel on your TV. It would just show up all scrambled, right? Like, you could kind of hear what was going on, and you could kind of see what was going on sometimes. So, like, depending on how it, like, scrambled, you'd be like, "Ooh, there's a titty!" Like, I saw a titty.
Depending on the bunny ears that you had, and if you had to put on tinfoil.
Yeah, and, like, they just have, like, instant access to, like, I don't know, whatever
everything
site that you
tentacle porn.
Any
position, it's everything. It's the weirdest shit you can think of. It's fucking weird.
But
I can hardly scroll through iFunny without seeing ass in my face. Like, iFunny's just got, like, I'm sitting here like, man, if my son was on here, because it's just supposed to be funny stuff, but, like, there is just, I mean, I'm looking at ladies like I feel like I'm doing something wrong. Like, I accidentally downloaded the wrong thing.
It's weird to think about, though. We have pornography to thank for high-speed internet.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for pornography, then there was never the early need to send pictures and larger files over the internet, because it was just like, oh, let me email you my tax form or whatever. That's barely anything. But now, like, we got to send, like, titty pictures. Like, oh, well, we need wider band for that, for communication.
Well, yeah, everybody's shit was crashing.
Yeah. I remember the 56K dial-up modem. Someone fucking called you in the middle of it. You had to start your download over again.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just miss the days before fucking cell phones and computers and shit. So much simpler.
Well, nobody has any patience for anything anymore because they don't have to wait.
Yeah.
And
okay. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, sometimes I completely forget that I even have a phone, and people text me, and days later I see it, and then I feel bad because I didn't text them back right away. But it's 2:00 in the morning when I see it, so I'm not going to text them back right then. And the
I love that about you, though.
Yeah,
I do, because I'm like, whatever, I'll see it and we'll talk about it. Like, I'm not worried about it, but I'm like, I just know if I really need to get your attention, I'm gonna have to, like, work hard. Like, if it was a moment I needed to get a hold of you, which, whatever. But
calling works better.
Calling,
like
but if I text you, no, I'm not
call
here.
Me, I'm like, what the fuck? Someone's calling.
You can see like our text speed. Out of my like maybe 25 texts over the last couple of years, you've responded twice. And the only reason you ever text me first was last Sunday to see if I would get on here, and then this Sunday.
Well, let's be fair, Kaya. You are a lesbian. There is no chance. So.
That is a fact. You do tell people all the time that you don't want to make out with me.
I mean,
so you
I have
really
to tell them that.
I have to tell them.
Daniel dropped in $2 and said, "Can I get a cup of ranch?" Fuck you, Daniel.
Where's my sweet tea, bitch?
Fuck you too, Corey.
Ranch.
Daniel also dropped in $2 and said, "Where's never enough ammo? We need falafels." Dude, what is up with the falafels?
Where did that come from? I don't. Yeah,
What?
that was
I
weird.
missed something when I was at work for the last. Some falafels came up in some chat or something. I'm assuming, and you're bringing it here, and I don't know why. So,
Okay, Honda. Do you really want to know? Because I know.
okay, tell me the story of the falafel.
We'll get to the super chat first.
Okay, and GA Pampa says, grew up playing in the woods at the base of a mountain less than an hour from Seattle. It wasn't what it is now. Dude, things are just so much different. And I think if you live out in the country even now, things are different than they were back then. Because even kids in the country just want to stay inside in their house with their internet because they've got fucking Elon Musk shit or whatever, you know?
Yep.
Elon Musk shit or whatever.
Yeah, well, they got internet in the middle of the woods. It's not like you live in the woods. You're a fucking country bumpkin
Yeah,
now.
it's not. It's not living in the woods anymore.
Yeah, you're not
like
going to get away.
You got like
Yeah,
a 37 Ti gaming
Like,
computer.
God forbid you shut off the Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
You got your gaming computer in your fucking inside of your cabin or whatever, you know? Like,
My stepdad lives in his shack with no running water. Like, the walls aren't even done. He's got to bring in his own water and stuff. And I'm like, are you ever going to, upgrade? And he's like, what's the point? I'm like, if people even spent a day the way that you do, they wouldn't be able to do it.
if you could live and be healthy and
Oh yeah.
why not, dude? Then I guess the biggest gain from it would be not having to pay money for everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just your piece of land.
I mean, he's got a nice ass setup, but you tell somebody he doesn't have running water and they're instantly out. Like, they don't want to put in the work to load the water in and load the water out and whatever else you got to do with all your waste and things. It's extra work. People don't want to put in the work.
I do like a hot shower.
I mean, I do like a
that's
hot
a
shower too. But, he does have a stove. You hang a bag. They've got camper bags where you can heat up your water on the stove and then you put the water in the bag. We had to do that one time.
That works.
Never done
yeah. Like the solar ones anyway. That you just leave out in the sunlight and then it heat. It's not like hot, but it's like hot enough,
Right, it's a warm shower.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Sorry, Hunan Hootman.
Hey.
Yeah,
It was
sorry
loud
about
in
that. I unplugged my phone so the echo wouldn't work, and I was like, okay, cool, it's working, because I heard you guys over the phone instead of my radio. So then I unmuted it, and then it Bluetoothed back almost immediately and gave you all that feedback. And then I couldn't un-Bluetooth it. Like, I tried to un-Bluetooth it, and it said, cannot disconnect Bluetooth during a call. And I'm like, so it considered that a call. So, sorry, anyway.
Oh, dude, you're good. It's all good, man. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. I'm like 270 miles from home.
Damn.
But there's no traffic right now. I took a bull to Arkansas to my uncle's, so.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
But
Where's
Anyway,
my when you bring in a bull to Colorado, man, I'll have it in my apartment.
What the fuck?
I got one more.
I mean, he won't live for long while he's here.
Yeah.
You're
I'm
stupid.
just waiting for Zoro to ship me meat.
You don't want to butcher one of them bad boys in your apartment.
No,
Those
not in
things
your-
are big.
No.
Them boys are big.
Yeah.
Well, these two were about 700 pounds. I just weaned them like a month ago.
Okay, so not big for people that know what they're talking about, but
Yeah. Well, they're like 7 months old.
Yeah.
oh my goodness.
But yeah, so for the solar water, I used to live in a camper when I was in college, and my hot water heater broke down. So I bought like 300 feet of hose, and it would heat up the water hose, and I could take a shower. It usually lasted about 5 minutes, and then I could soap up, and it'd be hot again by the time I needed to rinse.
Dude, I saw this thing. Okay, to wash your car, next time you do it, you put Dawn soap in the base of the fucking hose and then screw it into the thing, and then it just shoots out soapy water for like the first 5 minutes that you're soaping your car up. You don't have to soap your car up.
That Dawn dish soap, man. Saving ducks, washing cars.
Well, it's just it's so thick and condensed. You just pour a little bit of it in a hose. Like it takes an hour for it to rinse out or whatever.
Yeah.
Except for
My
you go to
neighbors are
drink
going
out
to
of
be
it, it
pissed because
tastes-
I'm trying that.
Well, and if you use the lemon flavored Dawn dish soap, it kills fleas and ticks on your dogs too.
Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
So it really is useful.
Yeah.
Did I
That's
say
another
flavored?
thing kids don't get enough of these days is the hose water, right?
Yo,
Oh,
that used
dude,
to
Mhm.
be
that
lit.
taste.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you,
Taste.
that's what saved all of us.
Well, if you let it run for a minute, the taste isn't bad, and you let it run for long enough, it actually comes out cold. And
It's
the
ice
cold
cold.
hose water
It's
in the middle
ice
of the
cold.
summer, that's the best water you've ever
Yep.
fucking had, dude.
That
Yeah,
doesn't
dude.
happen down here in Texas. It don't matter how long you got that
It
water
doesn't
on. The
get
water's
cold.
still fucking hot.
Yeah, you were saying you don't ever take, like, you don't even turn the heat on when you take a shower because it just comes out of the ground hot.
Yeah, and if you stand in the
The
fucking
hell?
shower long enough, it could be as cold as you want it, and it was still warm.
Well,
out here in
I'm-
Colorado, this water gets cold.
Yeah, ice cold.
I'm in Texas and my water's cold still, but my well is really deep. I'm getting 200 feet water. So
But see,
it's
well
pretty
water's
good.
a little different. I'm still on city water. I
Yeah.
used to be in well water when I was in another town.
I have
Dude.
2,700 feet of water line running out to my cows, and so it stays hot for quite a while.
Mhm.
How many?
I don't know how
cows
well
now?
water is out there in Texas, but like the well water in the mountains of Colorado is better than deep rock water. It's like the
Oh.
best water you've ever fucking
It's the
tasted in your
freshest
entire
ass
life.
fresh water. That's what
Yeah.
That's just good.
The best thing I liked about having the well water when I lived in Alvarado, which is over by Dallas, even when you took a shower and you washed off and you rinsed off all the soap, you still feel like you had soap on you because the water was so soft.
Yep.
It just made your
Hate that
skin feel
feeling.
great.
Soft baby skin.
MSB 9021 dropped in $10. Thanks, man. He said, "Hey Honda, we can't hear you. I can't believe I got to you. Wait,
What?
I can't believe I got told to fuck myself, and I'm still laughing about it. So go fuck yourself too. LOL." Yeah, they got me yesterday. I was doing a chat yesterday, and everyone was like, "Hey, Honda's mouth is moving, but we can't hear him. Like, is he saying something right now?" Oh, I guess we'll just go on without him because he's having audio problem. And I was like, I
Oh my
honestly
God.
thought my shit was fucked up. Like I jumped out, I jumped back in, and I figured out eventually that they were fucking with me, and I got upset.
Dude, Matt plays that off pretty good, I will say though.
Yeah. Well, it started in a chat last week. We came up with a plan to just fuck with you. And whenever the word falafels got brought up, that meant automatically to just
That's where falafel came from. Okay.
yeah, we can't hear Honda. Let's fuck with them. Don't respond to them.
Pardon me for a moment, boy.
And lesbian.
But it was fucking awesome. He ended up in the chat and started another one. It was fucking
Wait, what?
hilarious.
Yeah.
Are we
I bet that was
discussing
entertaining.
falafel?
Yes.
Yeah.
They
Fucking
spilled it, Matt.
falafel.
They spilled it.
What
He
the
couldn't keep
fucking
quiet about
hell?
it. I know.
Who
That
did
could've
it?
That could have
Oh.
lasted a while though.
Yeah, it was your
Come
dude.
on, man.
Well,
He already knew.
No, he didn't. Oh
Fucking
man.
bastards.
Uh huh. We know who
There's
to
always
trust now.
one.
We're just gonna call you Daryl. You swallowed the bug.
Daryl?
You went down and saw your dad at the mayor, and he made you swallow the bug, and you brought it back up to camp. That's what you did.
Yeah, that's why we
You done
can't have
got
nice
caught.
things.
This
done
is
got
why we
caught,
can't
Daryl.
have nice things.
You led the Russians right up to our camp. They had the little beep, beep, beep things. They came and found you. And I never heard of the Geneva Convention. So there you go, homie.
That's good.
Fucking hey.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, Duke, since you're here and Honda's
Yeah.
not, because who gives a shit if Honda's here or not anyway. But,
What's up? What's up?
finished Game of Thrones and watched the first episode of House of the Dragon.
Oh, it just dropped, didn't it?
Yes.
Oh,
It was fucking great, dude. It was great.
oh,
was a good show.
man.
It was a good
You
first
said
episode,
that.
man.
You say that, but you're the guy who likes Battleship. So
Yeah, fuck off. Battleship's awesome. Suck my dick. Seriously. Dude, we binge watched Game of Thrones this week, me and my wife. Literally finished the last episode 2 minutes after the new show dropped. Immediately started watching the new episode, the new show. First episode was fucking great. Sets the stage for everything that's going on, done well. It was good, man. It was really good. And I now like that final season of Game of Thrones better. It's much better to watch knowing what's going to happen and I that last episode is actually really fucking good. I understand, most of the complaints people have about the show are basically with that next to last episode, because that's when all the shit goes down. The last episode is just everybody dealing with the shit that just happened.
Yeah,
it's kind of that whole last season. Actually, is
no, dude, you're so wrong. Watch it again. I'm telling you.
Maybe I'll have
telling
to.
You, I have way less problems with it now than I did before after watching that last season again.
You had time to let it soak in.
Yeah,
Well,
it was way better than I remember.
The battle that was in the dark or whatever, where like it was so dark and you had to turn your contrast all the way.
I don't know what the fuck people were bitching about, because I had no problems with it the first time, and we just watched it again today. Had no issues with it. We watched it this morning.
Well,
like it was fast moving. Like there's so much going on the screen, so much, and it is at night. But like I could see everything.
I need to watch it all again.
It's worth it, man. We just watched all of it all this week.
We plan on watching it all again.
Well, my favorite part of the whole series was when they were having a feast and there's a Starbucks cup in front of Daenerys.
Man, I was looking for that scene, and I think they must have cut it out.
They digitally removed it. Because like Stranger Things, they've gone back and taken things out and re-edited things that didn't, like when he was watching the girl in season 1, Will's brother, the older kid, remember he was taking pictures in season 1 where like the girl took her shirt off and he kept taking pictures when she was with Steve. Like they re-edited that so when she takes her...
some Me Too bullshit, some female complaint.
Really? I didn't know they took that out. Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, they moved it. They moved it so like he doesn't look like that. Like continue to take pictures. He like turns his head.
Oh come on! Every kid his age is like
right?
that. Why does it matter?
That's a genuine reaction. Like it's
no shit. I would have done that shit.
Like it didn't show him put his fucking hand in his pants and start jacking off. Like get over yourself. Like
the woke mob, man, it's killing everything.
There's always somebody.
You know, that reminds me of we were talking about Daenerys. I was December 24th, 2018. I know what date it was because I just came across the receipt the other day. I had just bought a gun. I just bought an LCP at the store, and I went to the gas station and I pulled up to get gas. And I get out of my truck and like stick the nozzle in. I just kind of glance over. There's a Land Rover on the other side of the gas pump getting gas, and the chick in the front seat looked exactly like Daenerys, like Emilia Clarke, exactly like her, and she was completely, absolutely naked. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. And the dude was getting gas, like there was nobody else there.
That's fantastic.
And I felt really weird about it because I mean, Christmas time, I was like, after they left, I was like, was that like sex trafficking? Maybe, I don't know, because maybe they took her clothes to make sure.
I mean, they were probably having sex and it was in traffic, so I mean.
Thank you, Santa Claus.
Shut the fuck up.
Well, it was weird. I know, like I glanced once and I was like, I was too embarrassed to look anymore. I was, you know.
Then you felt guilty, like, man, should I have been there to save her? Was she in trouble?
That was what I thought later on. But I stuck my head in the door and I whispered to my coworker because he was in the front seat. I said, Justin, that chick is naked. And he just like whips his whole freaking body around and his eyes get all big. He stared at her the whole freaking time.
Well, here's the thing. If a chick is at a gas station in a car completely naked, it's not because she doesn't want you to look.
Yeah.
Well,
she's obviously not worried about it.
Yeah.
But
Did she get out of the car?
She's not selling feet
out of the car. But that's why they didn't look like they were enjoying flaunting it. They looked like the guy looked like he got caught and he like hurried up and tried to finish pumping and get out of there quicker.
They were fucking at the gas pump, or they ran out of gas. I don't understand. I don't understand their situation and how they got
those gas station boner pills.
It was the weirdest thing, dude. I've never. And this was in Texas.
Stop and get the boner pills.
Yep.
I mean, the boner pill only works for so long. Sometimes you can't get home in time.
But I swear
we got to
God,
do this
dude,
right now.
Do you know that from experience, or like how do you know that?
He
knows.
I've never. I felt that he knows.
Daniel dropped in $2 to change the subject. Thank you, Daniel. It said, Didn't tell the token lesbian this is a 24-hour chat. No,
Oh.
we did one of those. Well, I should say mainly me and Corey did one of those.
Yeah,
I was
wasn't
there.
that the one? Wasn't that the
Matt
one
was
you
there.
invited me
fucking
to
Duke
last
was,
time?
everybody was there, but Corey was here for like
Well, Duke took like 4 naps over the course of.
Listen,
I probably would have.
I had to sleep. I was tired. Okay, I don't want no
Okay.
shit given to me about falling asleep. That's a normal thing I do.
You know, your body needs it. It's this
Yeah.
weird thing. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, in a 24-hour period, you went through 2 complete sleep cycles, dude.
I did. I sure the fuck did. And that's
I feel like
true.
that would have been a good experience for everybody around you.
Like you were awake from the beginning of the chat. You went to
Yeah.
sleep. You
Yep.
woke up. You hopped in the chat before work for a little
Yep.
bit,
Yep.
and then after work for a little bit, and then you fell asleep again, and
Yeah.
then you
Went
woke
to
up in time for the end of the chat.
Are
Yeah.
those lines of cocaine? What is happening?
Yeah, this is Colorado is the nation's
I don't
cocaine
do drugs
use
anymore.
capital, and overdose deaths from cocaine have been steadily rising. So in
Wow.
2000,
I haven't done cocaine in 174 days. Honda.
booyah. Booyah.
Congratulations.
It's been since
Thank you.
2018 for me. October 2018.
I'm so proud of you.
We had a party at the house that I lived at, and
I heard about that party. I've
That was
heard
like
so many
right before we
stories about
started
that party.
talking.
Yeah,
That was like right before I met you.
yeah. That was the last party I will ever have at my house. I'll
Mhm.
never have one again.
I've done coke once, and I can see how addictive it can be.
It's
I was
fucking
like,
dumb.
oh my god.
It's too
I
expensive.
mean,
to do.
honestly, like you do it the first time and you're like, cool, that was fun. And then every other time you do it, you're like, maybe it'll be like that first time.
Yeah.
And it never is again. And then you're
Definitely
it's
a
dumb.
rich
It's
man's
really
drug.
dumb. For absolutely no fucking reason besides the fact that people don't want to admit how they're feeling.
Well, and the other thing about it is, at least in Colorado, where we are, the cocaine that you get here is so stepped on
Stomped on.
and fucking, yeah, like cut with something.
I
and-
can't believe like it's sad to say out loud, but I'm surprised that I made it out unscathed. You know, I might have a few mental things I'm getting through, but I did it pretty consistently for a while because I mean, in the restaurant industry, it's everywhere. It's somebody's got it in their pocket. It's real easy to just be like, all right, cool, let's go.
And the business that like the place that we work at, like you some days you have to go until you're out of gas completely, and you still have miles to go before you can leave.
Yeah, and you're inside. Yeah, it's just and like not doing it now and being outside of it and then seeing people still do it. I'm like, dude. It's just it's a really gross thing to see because it's just like it sucks. It sucks, especially when people are in it bad.
The grossest person in the whole thing is the dealer.
Oh yeah, of course. Because I'm like, what the fuck?
He's always like trading, like trying to get like a blow job for some coke, or what I mean. Like he's got some weird stinky chick hanging around him. He just keeps putting candy up her nose to keep her around and shit.
It's on some weird shit. It's like a control thing, and like. When people are addicted to those kind of drugs, like it's similar to like methamphetamines, like those people, they're going to come to you, they're going to come back and they're going to want it and they're going to do what they need to do. They're going to meet you wherever you say. They're going to wait as long as you want. And you have so much control over however many people that you have underneath your little wing. And yeah, it's a fucking weird situation. And I mean, I was a middle person for a small amount of time. All that really did was make my situation worse because he'd end up being like, this is for that, and this is for that, and this is for that. And then he'd say, and this is for you. You can do with it as you please. And then I'd be like, okay, so I'm going to do all that. And so which it's a really shitty world to live in. And I mean, I know people in Florida dying because people are cutting it with fentanyl.
Dude, that's what I was about to say is, I don't mind weed. I'll smoke every once in a while, but I would stay away from everything else, but because of that fentanyl, dude, I don't know.
Well, yeah, it scared me, like, because I've got friends that know that I've done it, pretty consistently, and I had people like texting me like, hey, I keep hearing about this, like, please be careful. And the more people said something to me, and the more people, showed they cared, the more scared I got, because I'm like,
Yep.
it could happen. It happened to someone that my girlfriend knows personally, and not that it was anywhere near where I was getting it, but it didn't fucking matter. I was still going out and getting the same shit as if it couldn't happen.
Yeah.
And I mean, I could have brought it home one time, been sitting here doing it by myself like a dumbass, because that's things I would do, and I could have been dead on the floor.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
Did you fart?
No,
that
there's-
bus.
I wanted to like play this video, and there's really loud rock music that they decided to put in the background.
course they
Is Honda
did.
saying something? Because I can see his mouth moving, but I don't hear
Oh,
anything.
God.
Oh, this again.
Awful.
Great.
I
The
don't.
key word is crepes.
I don't know what's going on here. I mean,
Are they savory or sweet? Because I don't know. It really matters.
and now he's
I
smiling.
prefer
I don't know,
savory.
man. It's just
Okay, so after Thanksgiving every year, leftover turkey, my sister would take the leftover turkey and somehow make it into turkey crepes the next
Ooh.
day, which were more delicious than the turkey ever was by itself.
So was there gravy involved?
I think it was like cream of mushroom soup was involved, I think.
Oh my goodness me.
So like crepes, cream of mushroom, that's the stuffing with the turkey.
That sounds
and
like
then-
some country ass shit.
And then you like melt cheese on top of them in the oven as you're cooking them. Oh my god. Anyway, Keanu Reeves did it better.
Yeah, I think he did.
Holy
too. What a great movie.
shitballs.
Holy shit!
Somebody fucked up.
now. Hold on. It wasn't Keanu Reeves. It was Sandra Bullock. Let's be honest here. Okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
He just kind of stood there and like said, "Do the."
Yep.
Sorry, I'm hitting a steamroller.
I got a little bubbler. I like my bubbler now.
I definitely need to be doing this on my computer.
Oh, you're good. It's fine.
Well,
It
I'm just
hasn't
gonna be
been-
in the
wait.
camera. Like I
It
can't
hasn't
see.
been
what
like
you're-
hindering or anything. Oh yeah, I guess to see
Oh,
the screen. Yeah,
Just
you're
real
right.
quick, are there now 2 people who can get me ranch?
Oh, here we
No.
go.
You
No,
want,
because
you want some of this ranch?
I'm just checking.
Did you need some of this ranch, or did you want some of this ranch? I'm not sure. It all depends.
If you need the ranch, you don't get the ranch.
What about honey mustard?
tell
Can I
my
get some honey
secret.
mustard, but I want it on the side. See, I want it on the side.
You ever do this
My
in your
favorite-
car?
I was just gonna say my favorite thing was to ask the waiter for some obscure dressing that they don't have.
What would be your first obscure dressing that you would think of?
I don't know, like Russian. Russian's pretty good.
Looks like a good way to
Russian
get your arm
dressing.
knocked off.
Yeah, bacon
No,
tomato.
I used to do this with my lighter. When I'd be driving, I'd have my lighter and it'd be a little skateboard outside of the window.
Yeah. Those little finger skateboards were cool back in the day.
Yeah, you need the
Your little
lanyard.
tech decks.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. Tech decks are
Yeah.
the shit.
Dude, our friend Frankie, her kids got tech decks. They even built it, like she even built him like a little table with all the ramps and stuff. And I was like, dude, I didn't even know kids were still into this. I was like,
I mean,
people used
it's
to have tech decks all the
It's a way
time. My
to
brother had
skateboard
'em.
without like skinning your knees and getting like permanently injured. you
Yeah,
know?
which is why I had so many of them. Like I was a total skater. Okay, I loved black and pink and all that stuff.
I always wanted to be a skater, and then I'd fall really hard and be like, "Oh yeah."
Change my mind.
That's why I rollerblade. Fruit boot.
Oh, Matt's a rollerblader too.
I don't
Back
do
in the
like
day.
ramps and I don't do ramps and things, but I'm kind of like a figure skater on the streets.
What was that
Yeah,
movie?
I haven't
that
I haven't
you-
rollerbladed in like 15 years, so I wouldn't
What,
consider
Brink?
myself a rollerblader.
Brink. Yes.
Brink. I used to watch that shit all the time. My mom didn't know I was gay. I'd watch that, and then I'd watch Bring It On because I liked watching the cheerleaders, and I'm like, nobody knew what to think.
That's right. What's that
I'm like,
movie
I don't
about the rollerblader dude who moved from California or like Florida or California or whatever?
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah. Johnny Tsunami.
Yeah.
What was the name of that movie, Matt? They made it about you, right? That's like
What?
the true story of your life.
What movie?
The rollerblader guy, and then he like,
Oh.
and then all the kids are like skateboarders and they pick on him, and he like fucking does all.
Are you
the
talking about
Brink?
Airborne?
Brink?
Yes.
Airborne's
Oh.
a fan-fucking-tastic 90s shithole of a movie. I
Yeah,
love this movie. It's a piece of
shithole.
shit movie. Don't get me wrong. It's a bad fucking movie. But I loved the shit out of that movie.
There was
when I a
something
kid.
about the 90s that was bad, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. They tried.
Hack the Planet.
Although arguably I was probably too old at that time to have liked that movie, but I don't give a shit. I think
Y'all
that movie
remember-
came out when I was like 19.
Well, because they made it about you.
Yeah, it was basically about me.
Do y'all
I mean,
remember the
it wasn't
movie
about you, it was definitely made for you.
Oh yeah.
Surf
And it didn't hurt that
Ninjas?
the chick in the movie looked exactly like the girl I was dating.
That's some North Carolina shit.
When someone uses my driveway to turn around.
Yep.
You don't look
I've
like
done
you're
that
from
shit
around
before
here.
too. I have.
I mean, I live in an apartment now, but like growing up in the house that we had, like where it was at, if someone pulled into your driveway, you were like, "What the fuck?
Yeah, highly
Who the
concerned.
fuck is this?"
Something's
I
not
didn't
right.
order a pizza.
You're not Domino's, bitch. What? We only had Pizza Hut. We were a small town.
I missed
I-
Pizza Hut when it was Pizza Hut, and they had the salad bar and the
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
game
They were
area,
very nice, man.
and they'd have a
You could
waiter bring you the red cup of
Oh,
soda.
remember the arcades, the little tabletop arcade fucking things they
Yeah.
had in there?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
great.
Pac-Man.
And you go to
I always
you
ended
go to
up packing
Pizza Hut
the table.
now, and it's just like this fucking shithole where they just feed fucking fat people slop to keep them fat.
Does
You can
anybody
see
even
the-
go inside
Hashtag
of Pizza
America.
Hut anymore?
No, I don't
So
think
many
so.
Because
places
why
you
would
can't
you?
even
Because
go
it's
in.
just a depressing place to be. Like, there's no reason to go inside of the
It's the
Pizza
I
Hut.
can't
Chuck E.
even remember the
Cheese
last
of
time I
pizza.
had Pizza Hut.
I don't even think they have tables anymore. They just have
We
like
only
delivery
order it to go. Like they have, I think most of them have turned into like they look like small convenience stores. Like you just walk in, there's a front counter. It's only like a pickup or carry out.
I haven't gone to Pizza
Or
Hut
whatever.
since Papa John's started offering stuffed crust pizza because that was the
Since
only
the
reason I went to
Papa
Pizza Hut. That was it. After Pizza Hut, after Papa John's got stuffed crust, why the fuck would I go to Pizza Hut?
Tell them.
I have no care to go to a Pizza Hut. I grew up in a little bitty town, and it
Yep.
had Pizza Hut, Subway, and Dairy Queen.
Mhm.
And the
Same.
next town over had Pizza Hut, Subway, and Dairy Queen. And the next town
McDonald's.
after that had Pizza Hut, Subway, and Dairy Queen. And I have no freaking desire to go to any of those three restaurants ever again.
Plus,
I
Pizza Hut isn't
graduated
the
with
same
64 people. I understand.
Pizza Hut just isn't the same like it was when we were all younger. They changed
Yeah.
the fucking recipes over the years a couple of times, and now it's just fucking. It's
That's
horrible.
right. It used to be really good, and you'd get those bucket deals so you could go get your free personal pan pizza. That was awesome.
That, or you remember those giant fucking pizzas that were like Bigfoot pizza or something that were
Yes.
Yeah.
about 3 feet long?
You can still get those at Little Caesars, man. You just got to special order them. That's
At
on
Little
their party
Caesars?
menu.
It's fucking
They've
disgusting.
got Jets Pizza or some shit out here. They give you it's like a fucking 3-foot wide pizza. It's ridiculously big. It's not
There's-
very good.
There's some pizza place up in Alaska that has targets on the bottom of the pizza boxes, so you can take your pizza boxes out and shoot them. I always thought that was
Recycle.
awesome.
That's great.
Dude, I was looking at this shit earlier. Look at how this tree spreads its seeds. It's like some shit out of Pandora.
I love it.
Whoa.
Oh.
These little pieces of paper just fall out of this coconut looking thing and
Definitely
fly
doesn't.
off like gliders into the unknown.
Do you know what a
Yeah.
dwarf mistletoe is?
I have no idea what that is.
So it's a parasitic plant that grows on pine trees, and the only way it can spread its seeds is for it to be in a forest fire. So when the forest fire gets into the dwarf mistletoe, it pops the seed pod open, and the seeds shoot out at about 60 miles an hour and stick into other trees, and that's how it
Holy
spreads around.
shit.
That's crazy.
Damn.
I'd put somebody down.
Yeah,
Explosive
they were pretty
jizzing.
sweet.
It sucked to be walking by the tree when it's on fire.
Well, you have to be walking through a forest fire first, so you're pretty much
Right.
safe.
Pretty much. The chances of that happening are little slim.
It's still kind of cool, though. I learned about it in forestry camp when I was in high school.
Fun fact.
So you guys ready for the price of food to go crazy?
Oh my god, no.
It already
It's already
is.
terrible.
It already is.
Yeah, well, it's only going to get worse. The more of these food plants they burn down and shut down and regulate out of existence, and all the farmers that they keep fucking with, and the huge drought that's going on that's causing like the hay shortage, so people are culling their herds which is really great right now if you want a steak, right? Like if you want beef right now, it's pretty cheap.
Well,
But
actually,
a couple months from now, that might not be true.
Yeah, well, my replacement cattle, if I sold them, I'd be getting less. But I'm holding on to my yearlings because I think in the end of September they're going to keep going up because they've been going up for the last 3 months, and I've got just enough grass to do it. The longer I hold on, the more money I'm getting for my cows.
So a bale of hay here is $40, and if you drive 300 miles west, it's $200 per bale.
Holy
it's
shit!
Fucking wild.
Yeah, for big round bales.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what my normal price is $100 a bale. That's just what it is where I live because I live in West Texas.
Yeah,
I have to ask my stepdad. He's out in Missouri. He's got a lot of cattle out there.
What part of West Texas?
How many.
But I mean, the replacement cows though, they're going cheap because people are selling off their old cows, and because they don't have enough hay or they don't have enough grass, so they're selling off their coals first. So you can go in and get replacement cows cheap, but the ones that are actually stockers that are going to feedlots and going to be butchered, they're still high.
Are y'all hurting for water too?
Well, I mean, it's raining right now. That's the reason I took this weekend off because I can't hay or nothing because it's raining. So I took the weekend off and took this bull to my uncle's. I'm going on like 4 hours of sleep all weekend because I left and drove 1,000 miles, and then I'm almost back. I got 250 miles to go, and I left Friday afternoon after work. I loaded the bull up and took him.
Now hold on, let's be clear. You don't live in West Texas. You live in fucking Oklahoma. Is where you live.
Pretty much.
Okay,
that's where the cow lives.
In the Panhandle.
That's where
not
the cow
exactly
lives.
West Texas.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you got to claim the tall hat when you can, right?
Well, you know what?
Nobody wants to live in West Texas, by the way.
Nobody wants to claim Oklahoma.
That's true. He's kind of fucked either way.
Well, my cows live in Oklahoma. I live in Texas.
Oklahoma is a redheaded stepchild, and we occasionally throw some fucking treats their way.
Yeah,
and
you know.
But I live 5 hours northwest of North Texas, and I'm still in Texas. So I think y'all are stupid that live in North Texas and claim it as North Texas.
I've driven through there many times.
Texas.
Perspective of how large Texas is.
How far do you live from like Dalhart and all that shit?
So Dalhart, I'm 40 miles northwest of Dalhart, and I have a Dalhart address.
Because that's the route I take every time I used to go up to Colorado. We'd leave from Dallas and we'd go through Wichita Falls and Amarillo, and then we'd go up to Dumas and then Dalhart.
Dumas.
Dumas. Dumbass. We'd go through Dumbass and then hit Dalhart, and then we'd shoot straight across all the way over to Raton.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I just left Wichita Falls like an hour ago. And I'm like, I went through Vernon and Chillicothe.
Wichita Falls is nice, man. I thought about moving there. It's a nice little fucking town. And they basically got everything that larger towns have. You know what I mean? It's a nice little town. I like Wichita Falls. It's just so fucking secluded, man. You're like 2 hours away from anything.
That's what I like. That's why I don't have to bug out. I live bugged out.
I think I want to move to Dumbass.
I was thinking the same thing.
Like a nice place.
So
I called myself dumb so many times today.
You don't want to move to Dumbass.
North of Dumas, there's a packer house like where they butcher cows, and they have a bunch of Somalians that work there, and it's kind of rough ever since they opened that up, and they hired a bunch of them. But that's
wherever
like
they have the fucking slaughterhouses, it stinks really bad. Like
dude.
I went to college.
Are you talking about in Gaiman or Gaiman or whatever the fuck the name of that town is?
I went to college in Greeley, Colorado, and they've got
smells like poo-doo out there.
Oh my god, dude! And that's where the big fucking meat processing plant is.
There's a certain time of year where I live, the winds bring it on down, and you step outside, and you're like, it smells like Greeley out here.
Dude, like when I lived there, it was like eventually you get used to it, right? And it was fine. And then I left for like Christmas break or whatever, you know. And then you're gone for a couple of weeks, and you come back to the dorms. And, oh my god, I almost couldn't come into my room. It was so bad.
Yeah.
We
Well-
might have offended somebody from Oklahoma. I'm sorry, an OK diesel mechanic. I
Uh-oh.
apologize. I didn't know you were in the chat. Otherwise, I wouldn't have started talking shit about Oklahoma.
Well, they really need to annex the Oklahoma Panhandle because it's the most retarded thing ever that our state capital is so freaking far away, and everybody goes to Amarillo to go to the doctor or whatever. Amarillo is more like our state capital than Oklahoma City. I had been there in 20 years. I'd been there twice in my life because it's just not where we go.
Oh fuck! I've been to Oklahoma City more than that.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
in a
the
Ryder
first
truck.
20 years of my life, I've been there a lot since. But
Did you go
the
to
last
Oklahoma
20
City in a Ryder truck?
Oh, I choose not to answer that question.
so you asked me about Guyman. Guyman is a pork processing place,
Yeah, I know.
but the place in Dumas is a beef processing place.
Okay.
Dumbass.
No, the place in Guyman actually offered me a fucking job. They were gonna pay me
Seaboard?
yeah, they wanted me to be a fucking floor supervisor.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought you were going to be a pork
You
steal.
just watch the. Never mind.
No, they
Well-
wanted me to be a floor supervisor for the fucking plant.
Yeah,
And
just
they were
letting-
going to pay me all of $2,500 for moving expenses. I was like, no.
Wow.
First of all, there's nothing fucking up there.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally the only job for like 50 miles in any direction is working at that processing plant. That's it. It's the only everybody in that little ass town all works for them.
Well, you could work for the college. There's a college there.
Nah, that's okay. I don't want to move fucking up there. No.
I
Sounds like
mean,
Greeley.
I know. I don't blame you. I
That
don't like
sounds like
Guyman
Greeley, dude. That's all Greeley is a meat processing plant and a college.
Guyman does
Solid.
have the best movie theater though ever. They have a really nice brand new theater with 8 screens, and
Ooh, 8 screens.
so it's $4.
Oh wow.
And so we go to the movies a lot.
Damn right.
I haven't been in a movie theater that only had 8 screens since like
Do they show?
1992.
Do they show the most recent movies though?
Oh yeah,
Actually, that's not true.
they're brand new. Opening day, they'll be out.
Nice. Hell yeah. Okay. Well,
That's
then
not
They're
take
really
it
true. 'Cause
worth it.
comfortable.
in Dillon, there was a fucking movie theater we used to go to all the time when I lived up in Colorado, and that had at the time, this was in the 90s, I think they had, I want to say they had 4 screens. That was it.
Is it a dollar theater?
No, it was a regular theater. We moved up there in '96, and I remember because there was nothing else to do, we would just go watch. It was the summer. I moved up there in the summer. Independence Day came out, and we went up there and fucking just would watch Independence Day every day because it was like the only good movie that was out at the time. And it's like, well, what are we gonna do? I don't know. There's nothing to do.
Let's go watch
And it was
Independence
climb a
Day.
mountain or fucking go to the movies, and like
It was the
you know,
most
going for
formative
fucking
time
movies.
of your life. You just watched Independence Day over and over again.
We did for like a
The
month
next thing
straight.
you know,
man.
you're getting ready to fight aliens, man.
Yeah.
For like a month straight, we went and saw Independence Day an ungodly amount of fucking times.
I will say this. If aliens are vulnerable to bullets and any level, Matt is probably the safest one out of any of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
And Kaya, I'll protect you. You're good.
Well,
Thanks, buddy.
I do have to say I could take care of about 40 hordes of zombies before I run out of 22 bullets.
There you go. That's all.
How
you
many
need.
bullets did we determine takes out a horde? I forgot.
550.
Was it? Is that it? 550. So 550.
550.
Just one of those regular blocks of fucking 22.
I've got 65 bricks at 22.
There
Jesus
you go.
Christ.
Now, do you have enough guns to shoot them all before you got eaten by zombie? In other words, do you have enough guns to like arm all your neighbors with 22s?
I have about
can,
I have about
that.
15 22s.
okay, see, that'll work. 15 of y'all with 550 rounds. Yeah, that'll work.
And then I've probably got about 40 45 guns somewhere in there.
See,
So
I've been meaning to ask you about this, Kaya. What are your thoughts on the whole gun issue? Because I know that you're not like, a Second Amendment advocate or a gun enthusiast like a lot of the people who probably watch the chat or myself are.
I mean, I grew up in a house with guns. Like my stepdad, we've always had a farm. Hunting was always a thing, but also the safety of our home was a thing. And I was sat down and explained, like all of us kids were taught at a young age how to use a gun. We all got our first BB gun when we were 8. It was just kind of like tradition. And then, I mean, I was out shooting cans, and that's one of my favorite things to do is to go out and go shooting guns. I don't know. I think that if people, you know, were taught appropriately, and you know that, I mean, there's a certain amount of respect you have to have for a gun, and I'm thankful for, you know, my stepdad for teaching me that. And you know, it's a powerful thing to have in your hand, and you know, to know the difference and to when to use it and whatnot. But we also have a mass of people that you can't sit down and talk to every single person. But I mean, we used to live in a world where that's how everything was solved, was people were shooting each other. And I definitely don't think that where the guns are at with all these school shootings and all the things that are going on, I don't really talk about it much, because it's such a sad subject, and it's ridiculous that we live in a country that it is so frequent that there are shootings, that it is something that we are teaching our children in school, how to protect themselves and how to hide from a shooter. And that's not something that they do in other countries. And to know that is crazy, because I didn't know that. I don't pay attention enough, really, and I should. I honestly, you tell me more than anybody does. But I don't know. I don't, and I honestly can't tell you. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're taking guns away. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're. I don't know.
Well, I mean, ultimately, that's always what they want to do, right? Like, that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
If you were to ask me, why are there more school shootings today than there were back in, you know, like the 80s, let's say, right?
Yeah.
Why is it happening more? I would have to say it's the same reason why they stopped reporting on serial killers. Because there would be, like, the Boston Strangler would come by, and he would be strangling people, and he would do it in like a certain way, and he'd leave evidence in a certain way, and then, like, the news would report on the Boston Strangler, and all of these people out there who have, like, mental psychosis and, like, different things that show up in weird ways and need to fucking, like, express themselves in a way that's going to make them remembered forever, you know, like, that's the kind of thinking that they have. They would go out and they would strangle people like the Boston Strangler guy did. And
right, it gave them the idea,
and the police would know that it was a different person because they would leave evidence in a different way, and, like, the things the news didn't talk about wouldn't be there, you know what I mean? So, like, that was happening, and they got the media at large to stop reporting on serial killers because they were tired of having all of the copycat killers that they would have to subsequently catch afterwards. These dudes looking for notoriety. And then fast forward to today, right? You've got, sorry, I'm muting you, Hunan Hootenanny. You've got this formula set up where, okay, here's the gun that you need to buy, here's the place that you need to go, here's the targets you need to shoot in order for your name to go down in infamy forever and forever have that kind of notoriety and that kind of name recognition.
Everybody's going to know who you are.
Exactly, and that's what they want. And the media has given them exactly the formula with which to do that, and that formula
that's the world we live in, is everybody wants their face out there, like like, you know, I have this many views, I have this many views, I have this many views on this platform, on this platform, on this platform. Oh yeah, well, I shot up a school and everybody fucking knows.
And I'm not saying that that's true. I just
but it's a good way to think about it. It's a good way to think about it. Yeah, I mean, but that's what gives everybody. Everybody can have their own opinion about it. That's why it's good to talk about. Like, there are that's why it shouldn't be brought down to what just these people think. It is something that should be a conversation and talked about, and not just like, this is what it's going to be, we're not going to talk about it, whatever. Nobody else understands how it works but us, and if we take all the guns away, then it's all going to be solved.
Well, and that's the thing about talking to other people about it, is people have to be willing to listen and have conversations about it. And unfortunately, very few people want to anymore, because I've talked to people before, and the first thing I'll always ask, and this usually tells whether or not somebody actually wants to have a conversation, is, okay, well, if the idea is that taking away guns and restricting them even more will stop bad things from happening, how do you explain that in a country where guns were very huge part of the culture from the foundation of the country up until 1968 with the Gun Control Act, when before then, literally a 14-year-old kid could walk into a hardware store and buy a gun. Why, before there was all these regulations, were there not far more gun crimes, far more shootings, far more all this stuff, right? So because that asks the question of like, well, do the laws actually even do anything? And if you look at where the highest gun crime rates are in the country, they're in all the places with the highest gun restrictions. So there's not
you could argue that, okay, well, that's because like Illinois is right next door to Iowa, even though it doesn't exist, and you can go across the border to Iowa and buy whatever the fuck you want and come back to Chicago, and now you've got guns on the streets. Okay, let's look at Mexico. Mexico, there's literally only one store in the entire country that you can go as a citizen and legally buy a gun, right? They've got crazy gun control. Like, you got to jump through all kinds of hoops to get a license to even go to that gun store to buy a gun. Like, if you do get your license, there's only certain kinds of guns that you can buy. And Mexico has one of the highest murder rates with firearms of any country in the entire world, much higher than America.
Holy crap.
So the laws alone aren't the answer. I mean, you could say the laws maybe, and this is me putting on my like advocate for something I don't really believe in hat. You could say that maybe there are some merits to some gun laws, maybe, right? But if you took away every single gun from everybody who's going to turn them in when you say turn in the guns, in America today, with the formula and the situation the way that it is, there are still going to be so many guns in the hands of the people who you didn't want the guns in the hands of, and the people that turn in the guns are the people who wouldn't have hurt anybody with a gun.
Right. And now the people that are told to turn in their gun are pissed off about it.
And they're also left defenseless for the people who still have guns and know that they're the only ones who have the guns now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is what that's exactly what happened in Mexico. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, I hate to go to bed on this note, but I have this new job where I have to be up early and I'm not adjusted yet. So I got to go to bed now, friends.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate you showing up.
It's nice meeting
thanks
you.
for having me. Yeah, pleasure meeting everybody, and hopefully I'll be back soon.
Yep. Good night.
All right. Smell you later.
Smell you later. Have fun. Cool. Well, that's Kaya. Kaya's cool.
I appreciate her view. I think it has a lot to do with her growing up around guns, though. You know, I feel like people that are staunchly against guns have never been around them. You know, all they see is the bad shit.
Uh-oh. Someone shot Duke
Oh no,
with a tranquilizer dart. He's out.
he's gone. He's done.
He's
Duke
snoring.
has left us, just like he did on the game last night. Oh, Duke's gone. No, I'm alive. No, he's gone. I can hear him. I can almost hear him. Sounds like he's still here with us.
When he starts snoring, we should all make puking noises, and maybe he'll dream about it and puke himself.
Somebody should get a hold of his wife and tell her to put on the alien outfit or whatever that she scared him with.
That's how she gets shot. That's not.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
MSB 9021 dropped in $5 and said, "We got 10 screen theaters here in Bama, but only 2 cousins to take it."
That's a good one.
I miss drive-in theaters. Granbury
yeah.
had one of the last drive-in theaters around.
There's still one in Denver.
Is there?
It's kind of in the hood, you know, but I think while you're there, you're okay. As long as you don't, you know, talk to anybody or make eye contact or do anything. If you're just in your car sitting there watching the movie and you don't need a drink or to go to the bathroom, you'll be okay.
I have lots of cousins, but only 8 screens, so. But my cousins, I have so many cousins out here, dude, that, I mean, I have 4th cousins 3 times removed, and they live like 5 miles down the road. So it's crazy. It's almost like you're not even related, but we grew up together. So it's almost like they're closer than, you know, my first cousins that don't live around here.
It's like that one neighbor who you're not allowed to flirt with, even though she's cute.
Oh God. Dude, that sounds absolutely horrendous on headphones.
That's not even like a good puking sound. Like it needs to be like, not like just like bubbles.
What the fuck is that noise? Trying to think over here. All I hear is all this alien talk, and then I hear about someone throwing up.
It worked. Oh, dude.
Well, all we were hearing was snoring, so.
Yeah.
That ain't me. Don't worry about it. Don't just ignore what you hear. Everybody's
We love
okay.
Cool.
If we all met up and Duke was there, I could fuck with him bad because I can actually throw up on command.
I will tell you, if we meet up in person.
Like the weirdest stomach. You can like eat the most nastiest shit you've ever fucking had and not throw up. And then when like everything's fine and the birds are chirping, you can just be like, "Hoo-ah!" I don't understand, dude. I don't understand. That's like a superpower, you know? You got like Wolverine's got his claws, fucking Superman can fly and all that shit. You've got complete control over your stomach excrement.
I used to do that as a party trick to fuck with people and make them throw up on command. Or growing up in school, I'd get to go home anytime I wanted to. I would just tell the nurse, "Oh, I'm not feeling good," and just throw up right in front of her, and then go home and do whatever the fuck I want, or go hang out with other friends. So yeah, I got
a guy that would throw up when he saw worms.
You're like Billy Bob from Varsity Blues. You can rally, I'm back. I left the hot dog in there.
Oh, have anybody seen the trailer they just dropped for Last of Us on HBO Max?
No.
It's pretty fucking good. I mean, it's a real quick. It's like 28 seconds or something. But it's got what's his face, Pedro Pascal, the Mandalorian, is the main dude, and the girl in it is what's her name? From Game of Thrones, the little girl from Game of Thrones, the badass, the Mormont chick.
Oh, Lyanna Mormont.
Lyanna Mormont. There you go. Yeah, she plays the little girl.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that
pretty
the one
good.
that's based off the video game?
Yeah. I've never played the video game, but the trailer looked pretty cool.
I did. The game was actually pretty cool. I played it.
Great game.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Little parking robots that come and move your car around in like confined spaces. I guess it's good for like cities where you have to have lots of people and shit. And I don't know, man. Like one time, my car was parked in the parking garage, and I went to work, and I got out, and half of my door was like someone was backing out of the spot and just like cornered into my door, and then just kept fucking going, dude. Like, yep, your car's fucked up for the rest of the time you own it now, I guess.
Yeah, that's all I kept thinking about with my mom being in the hospital, this weekend, parking in that parking garage, and it's like, God damn it, I hope somebody doesn't do shit.
Mm-hmm.
This is funny. Plane flying into the Twin Towers. Superman stops it. Superman saves the day again.
What the?
Anyway.
It must have been all the microwaves going.
Yeah.
That's
magnifying glass effect.
Ranch melting the steel beans.
Yep.
Because it happens like that.
All the vodka and all the desks helped fuel the fire.
We didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world's
been turning. Yeah.
Has anybody watched that Alex Jones movie that just came out?
What?
Yeah. Well, it's just it's basically a documentary about Alex Jones. It was made by somebody else, but he sells it.
I don't know. He's selling like signed copies of a book for $100 right now to pay.
I saw that.
Goddamn, how many of those does he have to sell? Like 25,000 of them or something?
Yeah.
Actually, more than that. It'd be 250,000. at $100 a piece, because he needs to pay like $40 million or something.
We need
Which
more
is
money.
ridiculous, dude. The way that whole fucking thing went down is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
Anyone who says that he got a fair trial doesn't know what happened.
Dude, yeah. And I think he's still got another trial to go to, right?
Well, I think he's appealing it, of course. He's got a couple of options. Like, he can either have it thrown out on the grounds of misrepresentation by his lawyer, because there was all kinds of things that happened in the course of the suit where the lawyer was inadequate in many ways and kind of fucked him over because of that. So he's got a pretty good case for, like, I forget what the term is, like bad representation. And then, yeah, you can also appeal it and then, like, have them look at all the information from the judge and her judgments and see if they were done fairly. And if you get a fair judge on that level of it, he's got a pretty good appeal too, because of the way that the trial went down. So,
but if he has to pay all that money, didn't he just file bankruptcy? So how does that work?
I have no idea, honestly.
Yeah,
That amount of money, yeah.
Not 100% on how that works, to be honest. I would assume they'd have to do some sort of liquidation of whatever assets the company has, and then whatever amount of money they come up with would be divided among the people who have a claim to it. And since it's bankruptcy, that's all they get, you know?
Yeah.
Makes you wonder how much how much the company actually makes. I know that's not based on what he has to pay, but...
Well, and they had an expert come in and testify as to the value of Infowars.com,
yeah,
who grossly overestimated the value in order to extract more money out of Jones, I think. So he estimated the value at like $400 million.
Wow.
And so they were like, okay, so your net worth is $400 million. We're going to award that 10% to each of the 10 people who were claiming on you. That way they get 100% of your money. But the way that they did it, because they're dumb and they don't know how fucking things work, there's a limit to punitive damages, which is where they put all that money in Texas to, I think it's like $2 million or something like that per defendant. So they awarded each of them like $40 million, but in reality, the limit of the law is $2 million. Okay. So it's $20 million for that, and then it ends up being like $42 million total with all the other shit that, you know, was added on in different ways.
Who tried to steal my background but did a shitty job of it?
Yeah, I was just about to say, it looks like Never Enough Ammo's background.
Except what they did is they used those squares that you like piece together. I use like the big fucking roll that's like 8 foot long by 4 feet wide, so you don't see seams in it.
Oh man, do we need more puking sounds already?
Oh, he's gone. He's left us.
Yep, I'm muting Duke. I still haven't shot my double barrel. My bicock has gone unshot.
I do have some good news. So ever since the guys pissed me off and I've been exercising, I've lost almost 30 pounds, because when it comes down to when I kick their ass, I don't want to stop kicking their ass because I'm tired.
Nice.
Oh, that's good, man.
All right, who looks the best out of these? Which one?
Dua.
Wait, did Duke wake up for this? It sounded like Duke. Never mind. I'm going for Kendall.
I don't know. I say Dua.
Now, I don't know who any of them are, but whoever the third chick from the left is.
Madison Beer. I don't know who
Yeah.
she is either, but she's got the
No.
biggest titties.
Mm-hmm.
And this chick's got like weird abs. Like she's got like fucking super abs, but
She's got a weird face too.
yeah. Dua's nice. I like Dua, but I'm going Kendall.
So, Matt, about 2 or 3 hours ago, I was watching last night's chat. You were talking about She-Hulk.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to say that not only was the part where she was talking about every woman that has to hold in their anger was annoying, but also like everything she did, she was perfect at it and better, infinitely better than Hulk, who's been doing it for 15 years, and that was kind of annoying.
Well, okay, so that part of it is true to the comics. Like there's a whole thing in the comics about how she was just because for whatever reason, like the fact that when she turns, she's still her and all this other shit. She was always better than the Hulk as far as not necessarily stronger, but like just like better because she was in complete control at all times from the minute she became She-Hulk. So that's from the comics. That's not.
If she was in
that's been
complete
around
control, well, she kicked that one dude at the bar, though. I mean, that's attempted murder.
Yeah, no. There was definite issues with that shit. Like I'm not saying there's not, but that specific part of it, you know what I mean? Like that's a storyline from the comics where Bruce Banner was actually kind of jealous because she basically, you know, got it good, whereas he was fucking ended up with the rage monster or whatever the fuck it is. Part that pissed me off was that whole bullshit diatribe about 2/3 of the way in.
Yeah.
She talks about how she's got to fucking, I got to worry about controlling my anger all the fucking time. Otherwise, I might get murdered because I'm a woman and shit. And I'm like, have you looked at the fucking murder rates by men and women? Like in any country in the world throughout history? Like,
yeah, it's like
murder rates between men and women are always favorable to women. Far more men per capita, percentage-wise. I'm not talking about at times in history where there's been more men than there's been women. I'm talking about just a percentage of men versus a percentage of women. The murder rate in men is always significantly higher. Like in Afghanistan, I think it's like 87 men murdered for every 13 women. And that's where they treat women like absolute shit. That's like one of the worst places in the world for women. And it's 87 to 13. And they put it in that show like it's some like, I get, women get murdered all the fucking time. Well, no, that's just not true. That's not factually true. It's not statistically true in any way, shape, or form. It was just pushing some fucking bullshit diatribe pandering crap for this 30-second little fucking monologue she had in that fucking episode that just spouted bullshit. Like there was no truth to the shit that she was saying. It was just pandering to fucking woke feminism. That's what it was.
Yeah, you're right, though. It's 87% of murder victims in the United States are men.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm talking about specifically in Afghanistan. It's
right, but it's funny that it's the same percentage.
Oh, that is, yeah. No, yeah, it's ridiculously skewed. Just and not even that. Just the death rate alone is favorable to women over men percentage-wise. That depending on what age range you're talking about, the death rate is about 15 to 30% lower for women in every age range.
Right.
Look at it is for men. Like it's just
expectancy of any country, male and female. Every single country around the world, the female has a higher life expectancy than her male counterpart.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So it was just some bullshit. Like I would have had no problem with that episode had it just taken that 30 seconds out of the fucking thing. Because I don't give a shit if they want to portray it off as though she's fucking psycho and might kill somebody or whatever. Like that doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't mean anything until they throw that 30 seconds in, kind of describing, like, because women might get murdered all the fucking time. It's like, what? I didn't give a shit that she's better than. No, she's not better. It's not like she's stronger or anything. But that there's things she can do that Hulk can't or whatever. Because that's all from the comics. That doesn't fucking bother me. Whatever. That was kind of the point of her character. So whatever. And that was back in like 1978 when she first premiered in a fucking comic book. So, that doesn't bother me. That's all faithful. But that was that 30 fucking seconds they had to fucking throw in there. As if that's the excuse for all the things that have happened in the episode and all the reasons she acts the way she does or is the way she is or all this shit. Because I'm a woman. And then also I'm better at controlling my anger because I might get killed at any minute. It's like, what the fuck world do you live in?
Right.
Like, seriously. Never mind the fact that she's literally talking to a dude who's lost like 15 years of his life to this thing, got trapped in his own body, hunted by the military and all this shit. And you're comparing getting catcalled and holding in your anger to that? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, just on a character level. Never mind the fucking woke bullshit. Just on her fucking position as a character with that opinion that what she goes through is harder than what Bruce has gone through is
Right.
so wildly unrealistic and so out of touch within that moment what she should have known was the truth for her cousin and how he's lived for the last 15 fucking years and what he's had to deal with. You know what I mean? Like, it was just so wildly out of touch as a character, and it was just pushed for fucking bullshit feminism crap.
Well,
That's the only reason it was in there.
And not to mention even Natasha. I mean, his one shot at a woman that he's been interested in for the last 15 years, and she has to sacrifice herself, to save the whole world. So
yeah, I mean, and it was just it was just that was the, if you take that 30 seconds out of it, like, I like that episode way better. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that was the part that just, it was like, okay, here we go.
You won me over, dude. You won me over. That's why I asked, because I mean, I haven't read the She-Hulk comic.
Yeah,
I've read a lot of them,
that,
but not
it
those.
was fine. Like, other than that, it's fucking fine. There's nothing that's not in the comics in that except for that fucking 30 seconds.
You won me over.
I've seen the memes online though, where they're like kind of making fun of the special effects of the She-Hulk chick, because she's just basically green. Like they didn't really do much to her or whatever.
Well,
I don't know.
I mean, it's just her green. Yeah, I mean, it's just her bigger with different hair, and she's green, but it still looks exactly like the actress, which it's supposed to. The special effects were fine. I didn't have any problem with the special effects. Look fine to me. It looked like fucking Hulk. You know what I mean? Like, Hulk's in there, and he looks fine. He looks just like he did in the Avengers movies. So, and she looks like a fucking Hulk version of her.
So,
and that scene where
that Hulk with the lime green Hulk from whatever that Hulk movie was from the early 2000s.
Oh,
the Eric Bana one.
Oh, that was so terrible, dude. That was
dude.
so
And
really
I've gone
bad.
back. I went back about a month ago and tried to rewatch that movie because I'm like, you know what? I literally haven't watched this movie in like 15 fucking years because I hated it so much when I first saw it. Let me go back and try and watch it again. I fucking hated every goddamn second of it. It's so fucking bad on every level. It's so bad. Like, and to think, because that was Ang Lee. This is an Academy Award-winning director of shit like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which is a fucking amazing movie. And he's done some amazing shit. And he put that piece of shit together. And it blows
everybody
me
has
away.
to cash a paycheck, dude, though. Everybody's got to cash a paycheck sometime.
That movie is so bad. Oh, God.
That scene in She-Hulk where the Hulk, does a clap and knocks her backwards, and then she tries to do it, and then does it repeatedly, and it hurts him.
Yeah.
Is that something the Hulk can't do? Is it just like a one clap for him and that's it?
Well, that's usually all he does. She was doing, the reason it was hurting him is because she was doing not as powerful claps, but over and over and over again. Like, you notice when he clapped once, it like knocked her back like fucking 50 yards. She clapped a bunch of times over and over and over and over and over again, and it basically pushed him into the rock that was only about 10 yards behind him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, he's much stronger than her. He just usually doesn't do that type of stuff. He's all about brute force. And that was just a thing showing how she was figuring shit out and figuring out how she could, because she's not as strong as him.
Yeah.
And so she has to be able to so she has to do stuff like, instead of just one big clap, you know what I'm saying?
I have thought of one other thing, though. Remember how she called him Smug Hulk? And she was like Smug Hulk the whole time?
Yeah, I did get kind of annoying that she didn't want to actually try to listen to him when he had all the fucking experience of being Hulk. She was just like, just let me fucking go back to my life, and that's all I want to do.
Study shows 70% of men would rather die early than give up meat.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I mean,
and don't feed me no fucking crickets either.
Do not stop buying my cows.
I like meat. That's most of what I eat.
Yeah.
Meat's good.
Yeah, I would rather die early. I mean,
There's so many obvious jokes I could be throwing out right now, but I'm just going to keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
isolate that
meat.
audio.
Meat's good.
Sausage. I like sausage.
Daddy, would you like some sausage?
Oh, you like the sausage, eh?
Anything dick shaped, you know.
Penis foods are good.
Here's the leftist economic policy.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's perfect.
It's about right, dude. Honestly.
You forgot about the little children mining for, lithium. They didn't include that in the picture. That's probably on the other side of the camera. We just can't see that.
Just buy an electric car, guys.
I play with plastic guns for fun. 2020. I create plastic guns for freedom. That's awesome.
Well, I like electric cars, but it's not because I'm green. I'm cheap, and I like them. They work well for me. We've had a couple, and I'm thinking about because I have a 35-mile round trip to go check my cows, so I'm thinking about getting a dune buggy and finding one with the motor blown and making an electric dune buggy. I could probably go check my cows for 50 cents.
Oh, I love electric cars, man. I love electric. I someday hope we get to a point where I can have like a fucking electric car that's powered by some fucking solar panels on the roof. Like, I hope we get there. I really do.
Well,
My
that's what I'm
issue
told about.
my issue is only with the idea that the left is pushing that fucking this is just some bullshit we can make happen overnight and it's not going to hurt the economy and everybody's fine, or that you should fucking be able to just go out and instantly buy. Like they have such a patronizing attitude about like, well, just get an electric car. It's like, well, not everybody can do that. Like,
Well, the last one we bought, we were spending $400 a month on gas for the Suburban, and that was when gas was cheaper. And we bought this electric car for $10,000 out the door. It's a Chevy Volt, and we pay for the car payment, the insurance, the electricity, and the gas. All of it comes underneath the $400 that we used to spend on gas alone.
yeah.
So, but we kept the Suburban. We still have it. I mean, it's like free car bonus,
I just don't trust the electric cars yet.
I trust them. I've got friends that have them. They're nice fucking cars, but like, there's issues with the range they can currently go with the batteries and some of the microchip technology that they're using, and there's only limited recharging stations and things like that. Like, we'll get there, and that's cool. I mean, I'm down for it.
The
Whatever.
problem is the batteries themselves. Like, they work great until they don't, and then they're really expensive to replace.
Yeah.
So you can get like a used fucking electric car. Like, oh, this is awesome, but the batteries are almost worn out. I didn't know that.
Well, so
It's like anything.
I've done lots of studying on that, and a lot of that data is faulty. The Nissan Leaf is about the only one that really has really bad batteries. The rest of them have thermal management systems, and it negates a lot of the battery degradation. I've watched some studies on Teslas, and they've got 10 years worth of data out there. And a lot of the cars that have 300,000 miles and are 10 years old still have 85 to 90% of their battery capacity left. My car, it's a 12-year-old car, and it's still working like it was new. I mean, I've still got all the range in the world.
Well, here's the thing. Look, it's like any technology, right? Like, it's, there are hurdles that it has to get through, and it'll get there eventually, and I hope it does. And we've already come a long way just in the last 10 years when it comes to, battery technology in these cars and a lot of the stuff that's happened. And it's fucking great. I'm glad, it's just the bullshit, on one side pushing an agenda that
well, you don't want them telling you what's
feasible right now. I mean, like there are ways in which things need to be done that, let's not destroy the economy. Let's not fucking, make, it almost feels like they're just trying to drive gas prices up just so they can break people and shit. I don't know.
It seems like that too, but you got to look on the other side too. As many electric cars as they're selling, that's actually relieving a lot of the burden off of the gasoline to transport us too. So, I mean, if you could imagine all the people that have electric cars, if they were buying gasoline right now, the demand would be a lot higher. we'd have a lot. I think the fuel prices would be up quite a bit.
No, there's not enough. There's not enough cars. There's not enough electric cars to do that to the
Okay.
market right now.
Here's exactly what you're talking about. Here's what the world is powered by currently. We have coal, which would be your electricity, yes, as well as hydropower, nuclear, wind, biofuels, and solar, which make up this little sliver right here. Gas is as big as it ever was. I don't know. Maybe you're right to some extent. This doesn't show cars, I guess. So this is just production. But
oil consumption has not gone down as electric cars has risen. Like
that's because people drive more. It's not because there's. I mean,
no, it's because that oil is still being used to create energy that is being used to fucking fuel electric vehicles. You're not at this point. Again, this is why I say I look forward to when you can slap a fucking solar panel to the top of your car, because right now every time you plug that thing in, you're still using coal, natural gas, or fucking oil to charge that goddamn car.
But if you look at the tables on it, the efficiency of an electric car over gasoline is still quite a bit different. So you're only getting 7 to 29% of the energy out of gasoline if you're burning it in an internal combustion engine. But if you're burning it in a power plant and then sending it down wires, you also don't have to transport the gas to the place you're using it either. But the electric car itself is about 81% efficiency off of that same energy. So even if it is burning 100%, it still uses less of the natural gas and fossil fuels. But like I said, I'm not doing it because I'm green. I fucking burn 100 gallons of diesel a day at work. I'm not green. I just.
Oh no, and like I said, I'm all for electric vehicles. It's just for our economy right now, for what the left wants to do, it is not feasible.
We're right. I don't want somebody telling me I have to.
Yeah.
And I mean, right now I'm driving my 3/4 ton diesel pickup, which gets phenomenal fuel mileage. I got 18 miles per gallon pulling this gooseneck trailer on this trip. Good. I made it from Dumas all the way to Arkansas on one tank of fuel. But I just like all kinds of.
It's a newer technology. It's getting there. It's come a long way in the last decade, and it will keep going on and keep improving. And I'm all for it, and it's going to be awesome. And again, at some point we'll get there, as long as regulation and rules and oil companies fucking buying out politicians or whatever the fuck happens doesn't stop progress. You know what I mean? But it's going to get there, hopefully, and it'll be awesome when it is. I think that's the biggest misconception from people on the left when somebody says anything about, let's say, if I come out and say something about, we can't, it's just not something we can do right now. And they're like, oh, you just fucking want oil companies. Well, I don't. Dude, I look forward to the day I can run my house and my cars off of fucking windmills and batteries and fucking solar panels. I agree for it. You know what I mean? It's not that people like me are against it. It's like, we just don't want to break sectors of the economy and hurt jobs and do all these things as we move that technology forward.
Yeah. But you're not totally correct, because I live in the reddest county in the reddest, well, my cows are in the reddest county in the reddest state, which is Cimarron County in Oklahoma. And all of those people are absolutely against electric cars. And they have none. It's exactly the same argument as arguing with the left over firearms. They don't know the information. They spit out a bunch of stuff that's not true. I have, I watch right-wing websites, and they post crap all the time that talks about how if you have an electric car, you're going to burn to death because it's going to catch on fire. But if you look at the actual data, gasoline-powered cars are 60 times more likely to burn, and that was compiled by the Insurance Institute of America, who do the actuary stuff for insurance, who has to pay for that stuff. So I mean,
hold on. Here's the thing, though. What both of you are saying is true. There's a valid point to the go back to the turn of the century when they were first making gasoline cars for the first time and they were taking over the roads. There were huge fights in New York, like labor disputes, because there were all these dudes who were paid to basically like shovel horse shit off of the streets, who were going to be out of work because of all of the electric cars. And they were like, well, what about the dudes who like shovel horse shit? Like they're going to be out of a job. It's like, well, good, because now we don't have to deal with the horse shit. They can find something else to do, right? But then the other side of that coin is they didn't force that to happen. Ford came by and came up with a mass production system that provided like these affordable vehicles to people that they could then buy them instead of a horse and buggy, you know, and then like that's what people started doing it. It wasn't a government, it wasn't any regulation, it wasn't any force, there was no coercion, and that's the problem.
I agree, but what I'm saying is there are absolutely right-wing websites that are bashing electric cars. Like there'll be one electric car that burns and they'll plaster it all over the front page and act like you're going to burn to death.
Yeah,
and
back then there was like dudes who were plastering the fucking sidewalks about the horse dudes. You know what I mean?
Right,
like,
right.
Well, hold on. Let's talk about this car burning thing, because the truth of the matter is that what that study you're talking about, with that insurance study you're talking about, is including everything, including which is the main cause for cars catching fire, accidents. And you're right, 100%. When you account for accidents by a lot, cars that burn gasoline or diesel have a much higher likelihood of catching on fire. What that study does not take into consideration is cars that are not involved in accidents. And there have been, in the last decade, percentage-wise of cars on the road, electric versus gas, there is a higher percentage of electric vehicles catching fire than just a regular gasoline car that has not been involved in an accident catching fire. Now, is it enough that it should deter you from buying an electric vehicle? Hell no. It's still statistically very, 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 very rare. Is it still statistically multiple times higher than a gasoline car that sits in your driveway or you're just riding up the road combusting into flames? Yes, it is.
Well,
so
mine
that
did.
Insurance study takes into account accidents.
I've had a car.
Go ahead.
Powered car. I parked it and I walked away and it was on fire. I came back and it burned to the ground.
Oh no,
And
I'm not saying it doesn't
1988
happen.
Ford
I'm
Ranger.
just saying that's the problem with this information is, first of all, the first problem is, no matter whether it's gasoline or electric or whatever, it's so statistically rare that it should be irrelevant to a person's buying decision, period.
Yeah.
Whether you like gasoline or electric or whatever. Because the chances of you getting into a vehicle or having a vehicle burn down are still so statistically irrelevant, it should not affect whether or not you make a decision to buy an electric vehicle or a gas vehicle. Let's get that out there.
I agree with that. Absolutely agree with that.
Yeah. But second is people take whatever information they can to bolster their side. So
Right.
it's all bullshit. Like I said, it's a newer technology. It's got some hoops to jump through, but it's jumped through so many already. It's done so much. It's come so fucking far. It is a viable technology that I look forward to becoming even more viable in the next decade or whatever. And I love electric vehicles. I think there are still some downsides to them as opposed to gasoline vehicles, but those downsides are getting erased more and more every fucking day. I just don't like the fact that we have one side of the political aisle pushing for fucking rules and regulations to cause things to happen that otherwise a free market would adapt to anyway, in a time which would not put any undue burden on, especially right now, what is already a strained economy.
Which I totally agree with. But I think the upsides are so great that it's happening naturally just about as fast anyway.
I hope so, man. I mean, I probably haven't done as much research into it as you have, so you probably know way more about it than I do because I don't even own one. But I really do. I hope so. I don't want to come off as though I'm like bashing electric vehicles because I'm not. I'm actively for electric vehicles. I'm actively for renewable energies, whether that be wind or solar or what the fuck ever. I don't give a shit. If you live by a goddamn lake, put one of those fucking little fucking things in the lake. You know, the things you can actually even fucking buy them. The little why am I blanking on the
deals?
Yeah. Fucking put one of the, I'm all for renewable energies and getting off the grid, and I think these things are possible and can be fucking awesome. And I hope we get there sooner rather than later. Now, not because I'm some fucking climate change nut or any of that shit, but just because I think it's the way we need to be moving. You know,
right?
So
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. The only thing I was really arguing about was you said that nobody is doing that. You know, nobody is doing it just because they don't like them. And I will say that absolutely people are doing it.
You're right. No, you're right.
So,
there are people. There are people. What I'm talking about is like I'm talking about myself. Like when I have conversations with people, and I know plenty of people who fall in line with me. You know what I mean? Who fucking just like, you know, they're not against this technology. They just like don't want to see. They don't want to see the economy or society or whatever suffer in any way, shape, or form because the government's trying to come in and push for a specific thing, you know. And so they're like, look, I'm not against it. I'm looking forward to when it's all fine and good and all this kind of stuff, right? So,
right.
But the other side doesn't want to hear that. They just want to assume, well, it must be because you're just some fucking, you know, I don't know, you're some oil company shill or something like that. And it's like, well, that's not the fucking reason. That's not the reason why I'm skeptical why the government's, you know, pushing for the things it's pushing for.
What I'm not okay with is the government printing billions and billions and trillions of dollars that they don't have, leveraging that money against my children's future to pay for fucking bullshit technology that's not ready yet, you know? And they do this again and again and again and again and again. It's not just fuck, dude. It's not just like electric cars right now. I mean, look at the whole COVID vaccine thing, right? How much is the government, the federal government, paying the fucking like AstraZeneca or whoever per vaccine? It's like $80 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then they just threw away how many million fucking doses because no one wants to fucking take them. Well, that's fine. No one wants to take them. You got to throw them away. Great. Guess who still pays for them? The federal government. Guess where that money comes from? Your children's future. That's what I'm tired of, is this shit where they're just like, well, we'll just throw more money at it because we're the fucking federal government. That's not the goddamn answer. And it's not the answer when it comes to electric vehicles either. And it's exactly what they're doing. And it's causing all kinds of systemic problems like you're talking about, of like shutting down sectors of business that should still be able to operate if not for the regulation that's being forced upon them. And that's not the role of government. At least it shouldn't be. That's the role the government is assumed and put themselves into these days. And that's
I agree with that.
I have a problem with.
I agree with that too, totally. But there is some misconceptions as well. It's like the government's pulling a bait and switch for the lefties, and if you look into it, because like the $7,500 tax credit for buying an electric vehicle, 95% of the people won't qualify for that. And then on top of it, they passed a new one this year that was in the new spending bill. The batteries have to be sourced in the U.S. and I mean, lots of good stuff that I agree with, but most batteries will not be able to qualify for it. So 95% of the car batteries that they're going to use won't qualify for that tax rebate, and 95% of the people who buy an electric car won't qualify for it either, because it's not just a tax rebate. It only offsets debt that you incur on your tax bill. So like me, I'm already getting some money back from being a farmer and having 3 kids. Like my taxes are pretty much zeroed. I have no debt to offset. So I won't be getting a tax credit when I buy a new electric car or a used one. It just doesn't count. But they say, oh, we've got this tax credit for you, and all the lefties are happy about it. But then it doesn't really cost as much money as it seems like it's going to cost.
Well, they spend a lot of money, though, don't they?
They
have these bills where they're like, oh, well, we're going to do this tax credit thing and then sneak a whole bunch of other shit in. And, okay,
exactly.
$2 billion. That's what we're spending on this, is $2 billion fucking dollars. I don't know what it went to anymore. Like, it's the money spent.
It went to $7,000.
We don't have the money anymore. The money's gone. Like, oh, you want more stuff? Well, we're gonna have to pass this $7 billion. You know what I mean? That's not tenable. It is going to destroy this country, and you're not going to have a place to plug your fucking stupid electric car in because there's not going to be a grid. That's going to be the problem, dude. Eventually, like total systemic fucking breakdown of society because the dollar got mismanaged and fucked up to the point where it's worth nothing, and everybody goes fucking crazy.
Agreed.
That's what they want.
But part of my prepping is that I'm building a Harbor Freight solar powered charger, so that if this does happen, we won't be able to get gas in either. So I'll be able to drive around in my electric car that I can charge off solar because there's no gas left. So, I mean, that's the other side of that same coin.
It does seem like they do it on purpose, Matt. It really does, with how much money they throw around or how much money they give away to other countries. You know, it fucking pisses me off.
I mean, if you look at how much money we've given to Ukraine, how much money we've just given to the IRS, we just gave the CBO $154 billion.
Don't leave out Israel. Every year for the last 40 years, we've been giving them like $10 billion.
And look, I'm not anti-Israel or anything, but like at a certain point, we have to stop. Like, I get it. And I get we have an ally there in the Middle East, and they're like our only ally in the Middle East. And I get it. Okay. I get that we want to support them. But yeah, we give way too much fucking money to them when we're not taking care of our own shit.
Exactly.
We give way too much fucking money to everybody, and all these people on the left want to run around and bitch about kids' safety in school and fucking, how much money fucking, or how much we need to fucking adjust the economy to renewable resources and all this shit. And then look at all the bitching that they were doing about the fucking PPP loans during COVID and how many billions and billions of dollars they spent on that when they could have afforded to give every household. I want to say it was almost $40,000 for every household in the United States of America, but instead,
I think you're right there. Yeah,
they gave it to a fucked up. Like, if they wanted to push our economy into a direction and I think it would be very easy, encourages people, like, let's say, instead of like doing all the bullshit they did, that we're doing it for the environment, we're doing it for this, we're doing it for that. How about instead of sending, we sent $47 billion, then we sent another $50-something billion to fucking Ukraine, and then we're spending however much it is on the IRS. I can't remember how many billions of dollars that is. CBO's getting $154 billion. How about you spend that money and go, hey, look, we want to encourage people to get fucking electric vehicles, and we want to encourage charging stations, and we want to encourage all this other stuff, because we think that's the best thing to do for all these different reasons. So we're going to offer all these fucking subsidies, not to fucking corporations, but to you. So if you want to go buy a brand new electric vehicle, you're going to pay, I don't know, fucking a third of what the thing actually costs. Like, if they really gave a shit about the things they say they give a shit about, they would spend that money more wisely. Like, if they really gave a shit about kids in schools, why wouldn't they spend them billions and billions and, however many, it was over $100 billion they're giving to the IRS to hire 86,500 new fucking enforcement officers to fucking school security all around the country.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, if they really gave a shit about the stuff they preach about and they like to fucking hold over all our goddamn heads, then why are they spending the money on the things they are and not the things they say they fucking care about? Like, if they really did give a shit, do we really give enough of a shit about fucking Ukraine? I don't. Do we really need to keep fucking pumping all that money into all the places, including Israel and everywhere else we keep pumping fucking money into, when we can't take care of our own shit when we're in the middle of a fucking recession and it doesn't look like it's getting better? Do we really need to be pumping all that money into stuff? You sit here and preach about fucking electric vehicles and school safety, but those are the two things you don't seem to be spending any fucking money on.
Yeah. And if they really cared about school safety, they wouldn't be tasing fucking parents who were trying to get to their kids in the parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
That's happened at more than one school now.
Where was the one that was from the other day? The video that came out?
Like Arizona or something, I forget.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, dude. It's ridiculous.
Let's be honest. Go ahead.
Again, goes to show you that the police and the government agents, while they might say that they are there to help you, are there to fuck you. They're there to fucking control you. They're there to put their boot on your neck and make sure that you know your place in society, which is below them.
Yeah, we are now to the point to where there is no reason for law enforcement agencies to exist except for that, what you just said. They exist only to pursue the wants and needs and demands of those people who hold their fucking leash, and to exert those wants and needs and demands on us. That's the only reason law enforcement currently exists. It is not to help us in any way, shape, or form. There is no law enforcement agency that exists in the United States of America anymore that gives a shit and that works for the fucking people. They don't exist anymore. I don't give a shit if you live in some podunk town and you swear to God your fucking sheriff fucking gives a shit about you. Guess what? He fucking doesn't. And when it comes right down to it, he's going to do what the people above him fucking say, whether that's a fucking governor or the Fed boys or whoever the fuck it is.
Whoever.
Well, and let's be honest here, dude. What is the real point of gun control? What is the real point of gun confiscation and like banning of guns? It's so that you, the fucking plebe, the sheep, the proletariat, don't have a way to fight back. You don't have a way to resist. You don't have a way to rise up. You are much more controllable. They can do a lot. Like, look at like what's going on in Australia, dude. Like, they can do whatever the fuck they want because they don't really have guns over there anymore. Just the way
People control. It's not gun control.
Yeah, that's why they've been pushing for it so hard, is because they know how bad things are going. What they're planning to do, people are not going to be cool with, and they're going to try to fight against. And if they have guns, it'll be a lot harder to control those people. But if we can get the guns now, before things are like that, then when we start rolling out all these fucking crazy shits that we have planned down the road, y'all can't do nothing about it because we got all the guns. That's what they want. But anyway, on that note, guys, we've been going almost 2 hours. We're going to go ahead and hit the end button here. Oh, look at my name. Token Anal Spelunker?
Yeah. Spelunker.
Okay.
At least let me get one word in.
Oh, shit, Leo's here.
Yeah.
Word.
Been here. You just didn't know this black man. That's what it was.
Yeah, I was trying to ignore him, really.
Got 15 minutes ago, I just want to say
He's
word.
been here for a while, man.
How's it going, Leo?
Tired.
Dude, I was watching a video of a Dollar Tree employee fighting against a mob of people because she was sick of them stealing shit, and I thought of you.
Yeah, it happens.
It was in New York City, though. It wasn't in Chicago. So, but it, same, different place, same problems.
Makes you want to strangle them, but you don't. You try. At least you try not to.
I mean, maybe at some point you might. I don't know.
Okay.
All right. Well, stay cool out there, guys. Love your faces. Peace out. Peace.